This is my forever world, and so, in theory, it will continue to exist forever. And like the Sumerians of ancient Mesopotamia, I will be the first to document and record the history of this world for future generations to learn about. Because let's be honest, who else is going to do it? It's a single player world, I'm the only person here, it's kinda gotta be me. And yes, I did just compare my Minecraft world to Mesopotamia. I would say they are equally as important to history. Maybe I've got a slight edge? Maybe. In all seriousness, it is just kind of fun to document stuff in your Minecraft world, so that's what I want to do today and build a giant museum. I've actually got multiple museums already in my world. Well, 2, but still technically multiple, like my art museum over here, which, as you may have guessed, is full of paintings. As well as my armor stand museum, or more specifically my armor trim museum. Inside of here we've just got every single available armor trim on display, or however many there are, I forget. But yeah, 2 museums right next to each other. Luckily there's a pretty open space right next to both of them, so this area is where we're going to be building our museum today. Now it's a pretty big build. One of the largest we're going to have at the base, honestly. So this area is going to be totally covered, and let me tell you, right now in its current condition, it is not at all flat enough. Okay, I know this looks weird, it's going to look good, you just got to bear with me. And I've left a couple of the sides just a few blocks higher, so it's not all completely flat. Tell you what, let me just go grab some deep slate and we'll start building up the foundation. It'll make a bit more sense then. So the museum's gonna have a base, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Basically just a big old slab for the museum to sit on top of. So that way we can build on a flat surface without the terrain itself needing to be flat. So hopefully now the extra few blocks we've got on each side make a bit more sense. It's always nice to have a bit of terrain variation, and when you got to build this big, which you can see now from adding this thing in, it would have just been a really big and flat area. Too big of a flat area, I would say. The next thing to do is to add in our railing, and this definitely isn't the cheapest railing I've ever made, by any stretch of the imagination. It is entirely out of dark oak shelves. And to make it even more expensive, it's going to be too wide. Purely because I just think it looks a little bit nicer, overhanging a bit. It's sort of similar to when people would use anvils as railings, except a little bit thinner, made out of wood, and just generally looks a lot nicer. So 6 stacks of dark oak shelves later, we have ourselves a railing, and I've also added in the staircase to actually get up to this thing. So we've got the base, which is great. We now need the actual museum, of course, which is mostly packed away in these shulk boxes here. Other than mud bricks, that's the only thing we're missing, and it's quite a bit, like 16 stacks or something. But the thing is, I'm a bit tired of continuously going out to my mangrove swamp biome to dig mud and just do that every time I need some mud brick. So I thought it would be beneficial to actually have a mud farm here at the base. Save me the 3,000 block long trip. I want to make just a small mud hut or something like that and have the farm underground. I just don't know where I could put a mud hut at my base. Nowhere's really muddy, so I feel like it's going to look out of place. Maybe over here by my villager trading hall? It's got quite a lot of mud in the build, so maybe that works. It's probably close I'm going to get. Definitely down by the water here. That makes sense in my head anyway. Honestly, right here might be a pretty good spot. Just want to place in a few bits of greenery, a couple of firefly bushes, and there we go. I've also made it go slightly in the water and kind of add some mangrove roots going down into the water itself, so I think that helps a little bit. But generally, not too bad. I think it looks okay. So if we actually go inside of this thing, we are greeted with some storage and a ladder. And if we go down the ladder, we have the mud brick farm itself. Now this isn't the best design in the world. I wanted something that was a little bit automated, but mostly something I could just do myself when I need a little bit of mud brick. It's inspired by a design I saw from Waddles when I was looking around for ideas, but essentially we just place in all of our dirt and then I go around and turn it into mud. And each one of these does have a stack. I push on the pressure plate and it gets lifted up, and then essentially I just do the same again. And I'm now realizing I'm gonna be here a while. Because I actually miscalculated. Turns out I need 34 stacks of mud bricks, which means 34 stacks of mud, which means a lot of spinning around this room in a circle. I know there are way better farms out there than this one, a lot more efficient, a lot smaller, just better across the board, but I want to try and start designing more of my own farms in my world. Instead of just following a tutorial and copy on over, this was a lot more fun. And besides, whenever I do need mud brick, usually it's not 34 stacks, so won't take quite as long in future. But now once I get some wheat and brickify all of this mud, I'll have all of the resources needed to build the museum. I am very, very happy with this. I mean, does it not just look like a museum? I feel like it's the perfect build for what it is. I had so much fun designing this thing. I just love working on big singular builds, and this is one of the biggest singular builds in my world. So yeah, I had a really good time. As you can see, we do need to place some string down here, but I'll need to do the whole roof as well, so I'll get to that later on. Don't worry, the snow is not here to stay. There is just one finishing detail we need to add in, which is up the top here. I'm going to place down some iron or copper golems. A little bit like, you know, on the big fancy buildings like this, maybe on a museum or a courthouse or something like that. You got the statues carved into the stone, a little bit inspired by that, I guess. Now I just have to pick what position I want them all in. There isn't really enough, so some of them are going to have to just be standing. Of course, that's making my life difficult. Yeah, you can stay standing, we'll have you running. You might have to stand, and then fully oxidized, you can sit. Ah, that's cute. That is very, very cute. Look at those guys up there. They look like they're having a great time. We'll do the same round the back, but hopefully they don't come to life, otherwise we've got quite the fall that awaits them. With the golems now in position, that is officially the museum exterior done, which means we can go to the interior, which, okay, is not safe or finished, as you can see. I can't say the same for the exterior of this building, but the inside is very much inspired by the Natural History Museum in London, specifically the room with the big blue whale skeleton. So that's why I've gone with mainly mud brick for the wall. Despite being made from mud, it probably is the block closest to the stone used in the Natural History Museum. They do have some glass in the ceiling, but that doesn't really work in my case, so I've just gone with more bricks, spruce and mud bricks. The main thing that is reminiscent of the real life room is probably the staircase and balconies. Ours is a little bit more open concept because, again, that's just what works given the shape of the build. But overall, I'd say you can definitely see the similarities whilst it still looks pretty different. I especially like the floor down on this bottom level. I never get to use glazed terracotta because it almost never works in most normal buildings, but this one, it definitely works. I am a big fan, I gotta say. You may have also noticed while we were building the floor itself that there is another staircase below the other staircase, and this simply leads to possible expansion. We have a door down at the bottom here, work in progress, which as you can see is very much the case. So if we get to a point where the museum upstairs gets totally full up of things and we need to expand elsewhere, we can just go down. Really, all the way to bedrock. If we wanted to make it that big, that's as much room as we got. So yeah, the options are quite literally limitless. Well, actually that's not true. There is a limit, but it's bedrock, and that's a long way away. These frog lights are of course not here to stay, that's just a temporary measure so I don't get stuff spawning. We're going to do something with copper lanterns. I know I'm super late to the party here, but I am loving all of the new copper stuff and shelves. I haven't messed around with it at all really because it takes me so long to update my worlds. So I'm having a great time. This is really, really cool stuff and just goes so well with this block palette, doesn't it? There we go, that's a lot better, nicely lit up and no more frog lights around. There's a lot of lights emanating from the ceiling because I've got some blocks up there to stop mobs from spawning, but I don't really like having hidden lighting too much in my world. I feel like it just makes a bit more sense if it's actually out on display as opposed to just glowing for no apparent reason. So of course the obvious answer is 2 great big chandeliers. Not only do they nicely light up some more of the room, but they look pretty good. I think this is a cool chandelier design using those frog lights. It can be my equivalent of the blue whale skeleton in the Natural History Museum. That's never going to fit in here, so these do a good job of replacing it. I spent a really long time figuring out the best way to display stuff here in the museum, and after a lot of careful consideration, I think I've landed on just showing individual items. So let's just make a little setup over here. We're going to have a lectern with a book. We can write some stuff in there. Then a shelf at the back, spruce trapdoor on the front. Oh, let's not accidentally write in the book. And then a glow item frame on the front. And that's where we can display said item. Which in this case, for example, is going to be my wooden pickaxe from the very first episode. And what we can actually do, because we got the shelf here, I can grab my shulk box of numbers and I can get 2 zeros and a 1. And then we can do 0. Nope, that's not how you do it. We can do 0, 0. Oh, is that not possible? Hang on a second, there's got to be a way to do this. 0, 0, there we go, 1 for episode 1 where we got the wooden pickaxe. And then in the book we'll just do something really simple. My first wooden pickaxe, the episode number and the date the video was released. We can stick that in the lectern and have a little read, have a little look. We could even name this item, possibly. I'm not sure about that. Seems overkill, but the option's there if we want it. So we got this super simple setup that can easily be replicated everywhere. So we've got 24 displays in total, which is great. There is just one tiny issue, and that is I have no idea what I'm going to put in any of the rest. Truthfully, the only thing I could think of beforehand was the pickaxe. That's all I had planned. I really hope I can figure out something else to put in the other 25 spaces. Otherwise this is going to be a really, really boring museum. That's okay. There's some empty spaces around here that could use filling up with something other than just the lectern thing we got going on. So whilst I do some building, allow me to have a think. There's a pretty big open space right in the middle here, so I'm going to make a small display for some armor stands. I say that like it's a question because I'm open to some other things to actually put up on display here. I just couldn't really think of anything else, so we're just going to stick some armor variants up in the middle here, just for something. Maybe if we end up keeping this in the long run, I'll switch that leather armor out for some netherite. I just have a singular ancient debris, and I don't fancy going to get all of those netherite ingots if I'm just going to take it down a couple of episodes time, so colourful leather armor will do for now. I also thought up here at the end of the top balcony we could have some decorated pots. The only thing is, oh, that's not how you do it. The only thing is I don't have any more of the like patterns you can put on them, so I should probably go out and do that because right now it's not very impressive. The best way to do that is to probably just take my brush and go out in search for some suspicious sand and gravel. Not to find a trail ruin. I don't have all day, and last time I did that, it quite literally took me all day to even find one in the first place. That was fun. I managed to find 5 new pottery sherds, and I've also, I'm fairly certain, got another one, yes, here in my chest. Oh, I also got a trident and 2 sniffer eggs, so maybe one of these we could put on display. I think that's a rare enough item. I love how the decorated pots look. I really need to get some more sherds on standby to use this stuff in my builds more often. I've also filled out the book in the lectern. We got pottery sherds found in the ruins of the warm oceans and throughout the vast wastelands of the desert, and I've just named what all of them are. Pretty nice. I know exactly what I can place on this open spot at the midpoint of the staircase. We just placed down a lectern and also a glow item frame with this map inside of it. Now, this probably needs a little bit of explanation. Some of you may have missed this episode. No, this is not map art. I imported a file purely for the sake of the episode, and I said in the episode if you guys wanted me to display this, should I? And a lot of you agreed. So after 27 episodes, here we are. It's a completed photo card of every animal photographed whilst out on a wildlife watching adventure. That's what we did, and we photographed every animal, and you can see the very, very pixelated version of them all. So not a totally legit map, but still a pretty cool one, and I think it's a nice spot that it's finally got at long last. I'm just looking at it again to see what all of the animals are, and I figured out every single one other than that. What is that? I honestly have no idea. I just checked the episode, and believe it or not, it's a frog. Somehow. I don't see it either, so I'm just gonna have to take my own word for it. And now the joyous task of rummaging through my storage room, looking for scraps of what I can place in the museum. Except hopefully they're not scraps, because, you know, it's kind of important what goes in there. But I'm gonna just have a look around my chest and see if I can find some stuff. It has been hours. I've not only done a deep dive of my storage room, but also my entire YouTube channel. I've looked through this playlist that this series is a part of, and I've now managed to cobble together an item for every single one of these lecterns. And I will show you them very shortly, but first I had an idea of something else we could put inside of the museum here. I thought it would be kind of fun to have some workers in the museum, or volunteers, whatever you want to call them. Since we got those lecterns in place, I thought villagers would be perfect. We get some librarians, and I luckily have these three guys just sitting here, waiting to be cured and moved elsewhere. So once we get you guys all cured up, you are going to be living in the museum. I went on ahead and stringified the entire build so we can get rid of all of the snow, and I also added in a pathway so it's nicely connected up to the rest of the base. And now we have a very ugly rail line ruining the entire build. Don't worry, it's not here to stay. Here comes one, there's two, and that's number 3. So we've got one over by the pickaxe, another up here by the map, and then the third one by the pots over there. I am just gonna hang a bell around the back of the staircase here, just so they've got a meeting place to go and converse about their day, and I do feel a little bit bad for them not having anywhere to sleep, so as a temporary measure, I'm honestly not sure if they're even gonna use these, but I'll just stick a few beds down here so they've got the option if they want to take it. It's all safely mob-proofed, and they can use this door, so they should be fine if they're noticing them. I think they've just clocked off for the day. They've all actually met up by the map, which is fine. This is actually a great meeting spot. I'm guessing the bell is registering as here being the meeting place. But yeah, that's cool. I like having villagers in my build. It's a nice little detail. Okay, let me show you around. Now, if you don't want to watch this, I don't blame you. It's going to take a minute or two to go around to everything, but seeing as this is kind of the point of the entire build, I don't want to skip over it, because some of you may actually want to see what I've got in all of these books and what items I've picked. So, of course, starting with our wooden pickaxe, pretty self-explanatory. The next one, we have an ominous trial chamber key that I got during my raid of the trial chamber. If you want to pause and read the book, then just feel free. I'm not going to read it out. You can do that for you. Then we have a very rare deep slate emerald ore, which for these ones that don't really have a specific episode where I got them, I've just done sort of not applicable on the back and then said date unknown. So it's kind of a mix of both. Next up, we have the Dragon's Breath that we got right at the start of the series, of course, because that's when we killed the dragon. I realize I can probably stop going around the back of them. You don't need to see that. That's just kind of there as a way to make use of the shelves. But Next up we have a piece of tall grass, which may not seem that rare, but there's actually no way to get this item other than to find it. One of my villagers hurt himself, please be careful. Other than to find it in a chest, so it's actually kind of rare. And then the last one over here is a Totem of Undying. Seriously guys, stop it. I've just heard like 3 separate damage noises, and I don't think you guys regenerate health, so I don't actually know what to do. I'm a bit worried they're going to hurt themselves. I don't know where they're trying to go. It's just, again, trapdoors. They mess with mob pathing, and it's always a pain. But it looks good. I guess I can get rid of them and see how it looks. Oh, you know what? They probably want to get to their bed. Maybe that's the problem? Yeah, that was a problem. Okay, fair enough. You know what? No, sorry villagers, the trapdoors have to stay. It looks so much worse without them. So unfortunately you guys are just going to have to go without a bed. And hopefully you won't try and path down there as much as you have just been doing. Besides, the 3rd villager can't even get over to this for some reason. So yeah, sorry guys, not happening. Okay, I know I'm getting really distracted. I'm meant to be showing you the items, but I couldn't find the 3rd villager. McRae's got himself. Just what are you doing? Why are you all so stupid? Why can't you just be normal and stay where you're meant to stay? It's okay. There's an easy fix. Well, simple fix. It's just going to take me a minute. I'm going to have to move all of these forward by a block so they can't climb up into the windows, because of course that's a problem. I will do that at a later point, I promise. Let me just continue on with the tour. So over on this side we have the sniffer egg that we actually got in today's episode. So I thought I'd put that one up there. Next we have the trident, which I've got a few tridents in this world. I don't know which one this is from. So yeah, but it's an important item, you know. We got one of the many armor trims that I got when I went to collect them all to get them for the armor trim building. Oh, hello, you've come up from the basement and you're trying to kill yourself already. That's nice. Good job. Not chapel. Doesn't really need any more explanation than that. It's a special item. It's got to go in there. This is a banner from my pirate village that we made quite a few episodes back. And then the last one over here. This one I'm up for changing because it's not really that rare of an item. It's just a Nautilus shell. But I was completely out. Like I hit 23 items and I had nothing else. So Nautilus shell. This guy has now changed a lectern. I give up, honestly. I've stopped them from going into the basement now. I've changed the door so they're not allowed anymore. They have to stay at their workstations. Oh yeah, the other one's still in the window. I was getting worried. He's fine. Okay, which side do we want to go? I guess this one. So this is just some diamond horse armor. One of the many on the horses at the horse stable. This is one of the fireworks stars, or at least a remake of when we made the firework display over at the base. Another bit of a stretch for this one. It's not that rare of an item, just one of the pillager banners, but I thought I'd put it in there. If you guys have any suggestions, by the way, please do let me know. I can happily switch these around pretty easily. Got one of the goat horns, the heart of the sea. This is one of the more rarer items in the game, so I think this one fits pretty well. And then over here, this is a blaze head, and I get them all the time from my blaze farm, so I thought I'd chuck that other one in there as well. Okay, last row, 6 more to go. Let's do it. So we have an ominous bottle over here. Again, this is one of the date unknown episode not applicable ones, just because it's a general item. This is one of my many elytras, but I've got them in shulker boxes, and it was like the first in the stack, so I'm going to go off on a limb and say it was actually one of the first ones that I got. This is just an echo shard. I wanted to put something from the ancient city here, so that's what I gone with. It was kind of that or a disc fragment, and I think that one looks a bit cooler. We got a torch flower over here. This is just from Sniffer Island. Mainly a torch flower because I don't have a pitcher plant. I used all of them up. This is another super rare ore, a diamond stone ore, similar as the emerald one, although I think that's actually rarer. Correct me if I'm wrong though, I'm not sure. And then here is my mace, and I've got my mace in here for 2 reasons. 1, I never use it, so I may as well put it on display, and 2, I actually have a spare heavy core, so if I want a usable mace, I can always craft another one. But with that, the museum is finished. Again, if you guys have any suggestions of what else we could put in here, some replacement items, filler spots, like here we got a pretty open space, let me know in the comments. this is a project I will be returning to at some point in the future, so I will definitely be doing work here again at some point. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Right, let's go sort out these villagers. Oh, he's taking damage again. You're so stupid.